chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You can hear with some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to the
Good evening,
show.
Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Good evening, Cayman Islands. Just want to send out these links. I think it's gone. There we go. Yes, welcome to a Friday episode of Sabrina Speaks. To you, our Sabrina Speaks family, near and far. Happy Friday, everyone. I don't know about you, but I'm happy. I'm looking forward to the weekend, and I'm just looking forward to another engaging, informing, very informative, open, lively discussion as we usually have here on the Sabrina Speaks show. I am Sabrina, and welcome to another episode right here of Sabrina Speaks, where we're voices of the islands, conversations for the world, and the podcast where voices rise, stories unfold, and inspiration takes center stage. The content you're about to hear, including any discussions or opinions from myself, guests, and or participants, is intended solely for general, informational, and entertainment purposes. It's not a substitute for professional, legal, medical, or financial advice. So I encourage you to consult with a qualified professional for your specific concerns. Bridge Media Limited and all its affiliates disclaims all liability for any decisions or actions taken in reliance on the information presented. 345-936-8255 is the number to call and be a part of the discussion. Of course, today is Friday. It's open mic. It's all you. Yes, and please don't forget to like, follow, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us all here on Sabrina Speaks, Monday to Friday from 5 until 7 p.m. And this evening, 7 o'clock, Authentic is coming up immediately after this episode of Sabrina Speaks. And he's going to be featuring the Gallery of Life. And also at 8, you're going to be throwing it down with Chef Brown. He's going to tell you how we cook Wilkes. Yum, 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 yum. Maybe that's something after you're watching that episode at 8. You may try to conquer this weekend. Who to tell? But yes, that's what's going on this weekend. And for Friday night entertainment right here on cmrtv.com. So you know the lineup. After me, it's Authentic. And after him, it's Throwing It Down with Chef Brown. Let's cook Wilkes. I'm excited about that episode because I'm becoming a fan in the kitchen more now than ever. I still love the grill, but the weather outside is not cooperating with me definitely today, and maybe not even tomorrow from what I am seeing in our weather forecast. Yeah, it's the weekend and you got to know how to plan your weekend, definitely even plan your evening. It's all about snuggling. This evening is one of those, why not snuggle up? Because the synopsis calls for a stationary front that's located across the Northwest Caribbean will remain cloudy skies with fresh winds tonight before slowly dissipating into a shear line by Saturday morning. Now, on Saturday, a series of troughs will interact with the share line near the Cayman area, bringing numerous showers with periods of rain and isolated thunderstorms. Sounds like that snuggle weather. The small craft advisory alert has been downgraded to a small craft advisory. And this evening, as sea conditions begin to gradually improve. Now, satellite images show widespread layered clouds across the Northwest Caribbean with isolated embedded convection. Now, the forecast for tonight calls for cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid 70s. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Now, swells are expected along the northern and western coast, and small craft, as I said, advisory is in effect. Now, for our Saturday, what's going on here? Yes, cloudy to overcast skies with scattered showers and periods of rain with possible thunder from late to late morning. And some showers may become locally heavy at times. Now, temperatures will rise near the low 80s, and winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Now, seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet, and some swells may linger along the northern to western coast until the afternoon. There will be a high tide at 8:05 this evening, a low tide at 2:41 a.m. tomorrow morning, and another high at 9:40. The sun will set this evening at 6:07 and sunrise tomorrow at 7:03. The outlook calls for cloudy skies with intermittent rain periods through at least Monday evening. And reinforcing cold front, another one, is expected to become stationary across the Northwest Caribbean on Monday, bringing another round of fresh to locally strong northerly winds with rough seas. So there you have it. That's the weather for the weekend. I hope you plan your weekend here in the Cayman Islands. And even if you're planning on coming here from one of those countries where it's just freezing cold, I'm quite sure you will still appreciate all that we have to offer here in the weather department. Let's say happy birthday to my friend Zana. Yes, Zana. I want to make sure I got this right. She's 6 years old, and thank you, all of you, for sharing the love on her Sabrina Speaks page. Yes, that's on her Facebook page, Sabrina Turner Community Activist Facebook page, sharing the love right there of this 6-year-old growing into be a lovely young lady. Look at there in her nice costume. There we go. Grandma and Zarina, Mama, quite happy to see their daughter and granddaughter growing up to be a fine young lady. Yeah. Happy birthday. And I'm hoping that you're having a blast on your 6th birthday. Who to tell? Can see you looking at this years from now and like, she put me up on that. Oh my gosh. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. It's your 6th birthday. Enjoy it, enjoy it, enjoy it. And to Mama, enjoy them. They grow up very quickly. I remember when she was one little thing hooked up on your hips. And Stephanie, I know you're good at spoiling them rotten. Do what grandmas do. Yes. Happy birthday, my love. Enjoy your birthday. And we're also sharing birthday wishes to Lavella Brooks. I wonder where she's just set it off, or wonder which restaurant or wherever she's going to be this weekend. Probably knowing her, she probably started from Monday. And, it just gets bigger. She'll probably be one of those who celebrate for the entire month of January, knowing this young lady. Happy birthday, Lavella. I'm hoping that you're having a fabulous day. And again, from all of us here on the Sabrina Speaks family, we wishing you this and many, many more. And to anyone that I may have missed, happy birthday to you. I think Red Rat is having a birthday coming up tomorrow. Yeah, Wallace Wilson. Yeah, he's known big in the entertainment industry. Red Rat is his stage name, and he's out in the music world, the entertainment. Happy birthday to you as well, Red Rat. But today, I know we're not going to be live tomorrow, but I'll definitely do a post shouting you out, big up on our page as we share the Caymanian love with you. But putting the spotlight on who is celebrating their day today is Lavella and Zana. Yes, 6 years old. is 6 years old, and I will not tell you this January princess queen birthday. She keep that under wraps, but Shields, I'm quite sure. Cheers to you both today on your birthday. Wishing you all the best and many, many more to come. Jimbo is first to respond or to comment in the line. Happy Friday to you, my sweet, and all the beautiful people. Yeah, I've been behaving, Jim. You notice I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it live anymore. But I like you clicking of the glass and all that good stuff. Yeah. But yeah, better days are coming. Hello to you too, my love. Happy Friday to you, Marshall. It's good to always have you guys with me. And Damian Henry, well, happy Friday to you. Good. Yes, Jimbo, Connie must be enjoying happy hour else. She's probably came on Cabana hanging with Luigi and the gang there. Who to tell? If it's there or somewhere else, the mere fact that she didn't send us the memo, I'm going to deal with her, Jimbo. I think we both need to take her on, but I can't wait for at least one day we all go out and just have a blast, just enjoy each other's company since we're doing it so much in this virtual space. And you see the amount of fun that we're having. It's amazing with the personalities that are here. What a heck of a half hour that would be. What a mess. Probably. Who to tell? It's pretty chilly out, and the seas are quite rough out there, so I'm quite sure. But it's always a good atmosphere, a good vibe there at Cayman Cabana. Shameless plug for them. That is one of my favorite hangout spots. I do have a number of them, but there's a great chance, heck of a chance, you're going to find me right there at Cayman Cabana, keeping it local, keeping it fresh, keeping it in town where I was raised up. And I just love the vibes. But with this kind of weather, yeah. Yes, we should be there. We should be. But you know what? We're going to take her on soon. We could take her on soon. I don't know where she's at, but she's late to class. So she'll have to answer to us. Where is Connie Bonnie for sure? Real Michelle, happy Friday to you. What up, Jimbo? Hey, Sabrina and the CMR family. Another day greets us, for which I'm grateful. All hugs to you. And yeah, you're sharing the happy birthday wishes to all of those that are celebrating birthdays as well. Yes, Jimbo, it's really nice. It's really, really nice. I love it. You go there and who you see people across the bar and you see regulars and that sort of stuff. You want to identify yourself. You do. If you don't, it's fine with me. I've had a number of persons who just come and tap and they'll just smile, or you see them give you a little wink to let you know, I see ya, spot ya. But yeah, nevertheless, it's good vibes out there. Luigi, the crew. I got one out there that's called Mumbai. I got Amazon Prime and Philip and all of the guys. Yeah, these are our stage name for all of the team out there. I know from time to time they get new staff, but kudos to the guys. I haven't seen them yet for the new year. I have been bad. Or good, if you want to call it. Bad to them, good for me. But when I start, all hell could break loose. But yeah. But Jimbo, who to tell? We got a date. You, me, and Connie. We're going to do it. Yes. That's what life is all about. You just live, you enjoy life, and tomorrow's not promised to us soul. So why not enjoy it? What is your take on it? It's Open Mic Friday. We want to hear from you. 345-936-8255. I don't know what the heck was going on with the phones yesterday. I shut down everything last night. I updated my phone. I shut down the board. I made sure that all the jacks and everything were in. I did my little cross check and confirm before we took off, which was why I was a couple seconds late, making sure everything was in place. So who to tell? I don't know. But yeah, here we are. Well, that's where we're going to go. The Real Michelle says, how are the non-alcohol? Oh, delicious, girl. Some places lack creativity. And this mocktails. They do a very good job, I must say. And their presentation with their margaritas and that sort of stuff, you would never know that it's a mocktail. And yes, some places do lack that creativity, but I can't say one of the places, being that of Cayman Cabana, you would never know whether it has liquor or not. That's the good thing. So I must give them that much credit, so that you're not look like the odd man out or whatever. You can blend right in right there with real Michelle. Jim says, back in the day, I had to manage. What a job you had. I had to manage Luigi. What a had. Oh my God, I didn't even finish read it. It's just his personality. But he turned out to be quite the man with a beautiful family and a successful business. Jim, I didn't even finish read it. I just know his personality. And yeah, I was like, poor you. But he has a heart of gold. Luigi, in speaking to him, he just thrust himself into this business, and we all learn as young Caymanian entrepreneurs. Many of us open up business, definitely know a clue of the industry, but whatever, the environment as well, and you keep at it, and you keep at it, and you keep at it. Sometimes we get tired, sometimes, but it was just a love for what you do, and his personality is what I'm seeing right now. That's the atmosphere for him. That's the vibe for him. It works for him. But yeah, kudos to him. For you, Jimbo, but you survived. And look at what you have actually. Look at the product. You are a part of who he is as an adult now, and in this industry, being an ambassador, which I know he loves Caymanian heritage. He loves Caymanian culture. That is displayed in the dishes that he have. And for the record, their food is the bomb. Their food is scrumptious. It is consistent. Their callaloo rice is the bomb. I love their Cayman style lobster. And he does a heck of a catch of the day. Sometimes these fish Cayman style can actually fill your plate. Like you're looking at that and you're like, there's no way I can consume all of that. For me, I'm a picker. If I could go there, I could be on the liquid side more than the meal side. But yeah, anyhow. Their food is good. In my humble opinion, they got the best comforters on island. So there you have it. Shameless plug for Cayman Cabana, because I love you lots. And just for the record, it is a shameless plug. It's one of the last few, if not owned, Caymanian owned a business out there selling Caymanian food that you can taste that Caymanian touch. And the vibe is just what it is there. So beautiful sunsets when we have excellent weather, and just the vibe, the energy is good. Yeah, so there you go. Happy Friday, Mr. Douglas. How are you? Vicky Joy. Yeah, happy Friday. Drinking my champagne and watching you drink. Well, at least you're in bed. Snuggle weather. Yes, I said it. I said it. I said it. I said it. Denver, it's good to have you with us. Can Barantes. Hola, buenas tardes. Puerta vida. Puerta la vida. I got a little thing in me too. I try. Put it like this. If I'm on the dance floor, I dance like nobody's watching, and you can't tell me I didn't just win that show that's on TV about the dance one. You can't tell. Yeah, I just watched like nobody. I danced like no one's watching. That's what you do. You got to live your life. And yeah, just have a good time. But buenas tardes to you. And I hope that you have a good weekend as well. Now today's open mic. I got to give you some information, and feel free to call in and let's hear from you. The week, as I said, what we're building out the space to be is that I want a day where, I can have this space for you, that there's no one specific topic, that we have an open mic segment. And I thought, why not a Friday where you can steer the vibe, you can steer the topics, and we just ventilate various topics on here. We know most of our long weekends, the Mondays are a public holiday. I didn't thought that was right. And then with everything that's happening in the Caribbean, there's certain geopolitical issues and the whole environment right now with hard hitting headlines. I thought it was good to just keep Friday for you, but you have to help me fill this space as well, because there's no sense of us having an open mic, open air. We're not hearing from you. I love when you participate. hoping that the phone works today. And I love your feedback as well. So again, I'm going to pitch this as we continue to develop. Remember, December was only 6 months since we became live on this platform. So we're still evolving. We're still finding our way. And I'm hoping that as I can see the dust settling, we're seeing this where this is a space for civic engagement as we continue to elevate each other, inform, educate, and actually deal with some hard-hitting topics that your everyday podcast won't necessarily handle. Like we went into some of the laws, we went into the Constitution, which were not yet done. We've had some hard-hitting conversations as it talks about Constitution and all that sort of stuff. And once I am aware, I do my best to bring back these topics, do my own research in order to engage with you. Now, from time to time, we will have guests on to deal with some of these topics, and some of them will be brought back up again because we will have experts on. But the platform here is open for anyone who want to contribute to any of the subjects that we have actually covered in the past, to bring more context to it, to bring a more dialogue or more clarity on it, because I'm not coming on here to profess that I know everything. I bring the topics. You're invited to give me your perspective, your feedback. And yes, there are going to be times we're going to be having to do fact check, because at the end of the day, we want to grow, educate in this space together. So not everything I'm going to jump on. I do get a number of calls for persons, like we had the 2 days of workplace bullying and all that sort of stuff. And I have set the tone. I have already gotten things in motion where the message has been received, and I'm giving persons to get their houses in order. And we will continuously follow up on some of these reports that have come to me. And if there's somebody who wants to call in and share on this platform, you never know who's listening, even though they may not be commenting, that they may be able to also share advice, guidance as well with you if we hear from you. So on Fridays, you will see more and more of this open mic segment, giving you, our listeners, our supporters, the opportunity to also hear from you. It doesn't have to be specific to what I'm talking about at the time. We can change gears and we can come back to whatever it was once you have your space, because that is why we have this podcast, Voices of the Islands, Conversations for the World, because it's not just the host. But of course, being in this space, having been extended now to 2 hours, you got to have content. So there are going to be some topics, which is why I choose headlines. There may be some breaking news that I will change from. It is not my opinions. My opinions in this space doesn't matter, because I want to encourage, I want to promote hearing from you, because I can tell you, powers that be and policy persons and leaders are listening to the platform. And when they hear it from you, or certain things that you highlight, changes, ideas, thought-provoking directions are actually impacting how they may see things. So do not think that it's just falling on deaf ear. It is not, because even if you're not live, how these podcasts are, you can go back days after. I love when we get a high number of feedback. Views are good, but I don't let it deter me when our numbers appear to be low, because we're still averaging in the thousands at the end of the day. And the numbers continue to grow weeks after a podcast has already aired. So I'm not really disappointed sometimes when you look and you see how much live and no. I know for a fact, because of the feedback that I get many a times 2-3 weeks after the fact. And people are like, oh, I'm catching up. Or I was like wherever Connie is right now, she'll probably join us late. So the whole idea of Fridays will be giving you the opportunity to feedback, to get to hear your feedback and weighing on some things or topics that may be bothering you. We're seeing what's happening locally as we settle into acknowledging these new fees and heightened fees. The minimum wage, for example, there's still ongoing work. My sources tell me with the immigration reform that possible will not have public discussions again, because we're just waiting to see the implementation from what we're hearing now for March 1st. And these are things that, kind of make you wonder. But this is still developing. We're still waiting for it. And I'm quite sure the powers that be will, in time, tell us exactly what those changes are now. If there's significant changes that's going to be afoot and there's no public discussion about it, or to get your feedback, then what's your opinion on that? So, but it was so much going on with that reform anyhow. We're seeing articles where we're getting prominent law firms and attorneys weighing in on these things, that we just have to wait to see where it's going to lie. Now, for all of my people who are on YouTube and Facebook, you need to tell me whether or not you're hearing the caller with the thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. I hope they're hearing you. You're the first caller for today. Hi, I am fine. Just give me a thumbs up, Jimbo, whoever, Denver, if you're hearing the caller. What's on your mind? And then I'll wait for the feedback because I know there's a little delay. How are you? I tried. Look, it was a rough week, caller. No sound again. Are you kidding me? I don't know what's going on, guys. I don't know. Well, we could bootleg this today because I'm not going to do this. I'm going to put you on speaker so that everybody can hear you. So go ahead. I don't know what's going on because it's not coming through the board. So tell me if you can hear him now. Go ahead, caller.
Good evening.
Yes, go ahead. Just talk.
I wanted to pick your brain about the whole the situation regarding Kelly Tibbetts and the Brock, and and I just wanted to go into the details of that case. I just wanted to pick your brains on, if you run a blog or a news page, what is the duty of care? Verify first, write a reply, corrections as long as the allegation.
Oh, to be honest with you with that, because I myself is new in this space, I know it's not clear, but this is the best I can do right now because there's something going on with this board. Thank you so much, Denver. I'm going to do my best to, we're bootlegging it today. Okay. The reason freedom of speech is one of the things that I'm hearing coming up with this, and it is under that act that governs, what goes across the air. Remember now, I am not on the radio. So when you're coming across on the radio and certain things that you do actually say, people can use that against you because of the ICTA laws. Now, as a podcaster, because of this format, it's a little different. But when we go on radio, there's just certain things that I have to be mindful of, calling people's names, organizations' names, and all of that sort of stuff. Hence, a number of disclaimers before. So, caller, I don't know the specifics into that, but it's one of the headlines. She was, I understand, based on an article, she was actually commenting on a news headline with a teacher that now has been, as we saw in our local media, has been gone back to school. So I really don't know the greatest into that. I have just been taking guidance on the fact that I know I'm not on radio, but it's just my platform is a little different. How I even deal with certain things is a little different. So I can't comment on that, but I am personally cautious with what I say, how I say it. And I'm also going to be respectful to anyone who contributes to the show to be cautious of these things, because in one way, some people will say it is freedom of speech is being stifled. And when it comes to the media and these platforms and all of that sort of stuff, it's being challenged. So I really can't weigh in on that. We have to look at this, which is why it's so important that Mr. Balika is saying that what is happening to Sandra right now is actually in breach of whatever is going on.
Okay, well, let me put it to you this way. I'll take it this way, right? based on, I mean, protecting children is non-negotiable, right? Um, but some people use non-negotiables like a matchstick, and then they walk away from the fight they started.
Mm-hmm.
When a person is officially cleared, what do we do about the reputational damage? Because, I mean, it came out and Roma travel faster. And the Roma travels first class, the correction hitchhikes. What do we do to amplify the truth and not whisper the truth?
Well, I guess that's where your legal representation comes in, number one, and the power in numbers actually, if we stand together as well. But we have to look at the legislation that is governing a lot of these things that will determine, because the mere fact that the previous case against Miss Sandra, she actually won, but yet here we go again. She was served again. That kind of, it dilutes the ruling of a court. Like you rightfully say, what happens? There's nothing stopping, I guess, someone from coming after you again. So do we have to explore the legislation? I'm not a legal person. I'm not an attorney. I'm just looking at what's happening. And if we all stand together in this, eventually, at the rate things are going, platforms like this will actually be muzzled. There will be no true room for open discussion and so-called freedom of speech, which people are saying right now is a thing of the past. It's actually being wiped from us. But we have to stand together and look at this and see what's happening, and just make sure that we explore legislation, that we don't get into a corner where you have no way of defending yourself or speaking out.
That's my concern. That's my question. I mean, we don't seem to have any standard for repairing reputations, right? Or supporting mental health. Making sure that the person was clear. And I don't know the person. But if the person has been clear, what do we put in place to make sure that that clear message travels as far as the allegation? I mean, it could be this person, it could be another person. I mean, somebody could say something about you.
Yeah.
Somebody could say something about me. But once reputations have been damaged, it's one thing to go through the court and sue and for defamation and libel and slander and that kind of thing. But I don't see any standard for repairing reputations and for making sure that, the truth gets amplified. And it's not something, she went to court, she sued, and she was right, but we're not talking about that one. We're going to go, this is what she was accused of, it's the accusation that lives on.
Right. I see where the real Michelle is saying it's crazy that the DPP can continue the face of previous orders, which expressly stated the DPP must stop going for her. That's in Sandra. And we see where Denver is saying freedom of speech is lost. Suck it up and don't be afraid to voice your opinion. But if not everybody has the means in order to defend freedom of speech, and at the end of the day, unless we come together, almost like a class action suit from those who feel that their freedom of speech have actually been trampled on, and yet your constitutional rights have been actually not honored, then you're almost fighting this in isolation until it hits you. So Keith also says the day that they stop the freedom of speech in the Cayman Islands, there is going to be a riot. Well, Keith, what we're seeing right now with what's happening with Carrie, the ongoing case now as well with Miss Sandra, is that it's almost appearing to be that way, whether you come at podcasters like what we're doing here, that we are taking it from a civic level. But if there's ever a case where, it comes to the point that we have to set parameters or everything that we speak, because it's not an alliance, let's say with the sitting government, or you may offend somebody and they may come after you to try to shut you down. I can see that actually being a problem. But from what I'm seeing with Keith, with our culture, I hope it never gets there, but the younger generation is dealing with things totally different. Caller, I'm actually reading some of the comments so you'd see exactly what's being said.
Sure.
Jim also says, as long as we're not defaming someone, have documentation to back us up, we should be able to speak openly. And Slavery Shadows 2752 says, I have something to warn all Europe, US, okay, yeah, from it. Is there organization leading terrorists? Okay, I'm sorry. That I thought that was in alliance with this. Yeah. So that's what we have there right now. With that, go ahead.
Section 19 of the ICT law, right, where they talk about using a network to abuse, annoy, threaten, or harass.
Mm-hmm.
Is the word annoy too low a threshold? And how do I say this? Does it chill legitimate criticism and citizen journalism? Or is it necessary or real? Because you have the online platforms can destroy people.
Mm-hmm.
How do we draw a clear line between harassment?
Like I said, it's just good legal representation and knowing people are saying it's very difficult to understand you. I honestly have to apologize for this. I wish it was clearer. It's not going through the board for whatever reason. I have done everything to try and just connect this. I don't know if it is the wire. I don't know. Everything is connected. So my humble apologies there, but I'm doing my best to do it bootleg. Oh, this is not, the space is not conducive. You be a part of the backdrop. What a mess. So it's really tiny, but yeah, but if that's the case, then every caller would have to end up here. I got to get this sorted out for Monday. If I have to do a couple tests, to be honest, I thought it was the board. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on. I really don't know what's going on. So here we go. But caller, to be honest with you, we just have to look at this and hope that at the end of the day, let me try to plug this in again to see if it is, let's see. Continue talking. At the end of the day, we just have to, I think it's the wire, you know. Go ahead, talk. Yeah, we won't know. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Hello? Are you hearing me? I don't know. No, you're still here with me. Everything, but they're saying no sound from the caller. Go ahead. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
His name with the same as the accusation. I think this is more of a cultural question.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is almost like it's above me. I really don't know, but this phone thing is really pissing me off, to be honest, because I'm doing everything in my power to rectify this, and it's just not cooperating with me. So
I guess you can rephrase it to the audience.
That's it. it's a lot to, because it in regards to this whole freedom of speech thing, and I hate it because you guys
All right.
add so much value to it.
I tell you what, it's even you can post it up.
Yeah. All right.
You can screenshot and post it up.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Yeah.
All right. Sure. Bye bye. Ladies and gentlemen, my humble apologies. I don't know really and truly what's going on with the wire. I don't know. I have done everything in my power to make sure that this is connected and that everything else is connected, and it's just not behaving. So you just have to put up with me babbling for pretty much another hour. And I'm so sorry that I'm not able to accommodate these calls. And I'm hoping to get this rectified, because this can't work. We need to hear from all of you, and it's just not working. Yeah. So don't stress. It's Friday. That's why I think I'm looking. I should have hired Danny. Yes. Mr. Samamba, I don't think we're going to hear you, but I'll take your call anyhow. Let's see if you are the magic dust. Let's see if you're going to bring the magic to it. Hi, Mr. Samamba. I don't think this has been resolved either, sir. Oh, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. The problem is, Mr. Samamba, I think we still are not. We're still having problems with this thing, and I don't know what's going on. So, yeah. Oh. Yeah, we will have to, because I don't know. I'm doing everything. Thank you so much. Sure. That's Mr. Samamba, and apparently he's having problems as well with other phone lines. So, yeah, go figure. It's just not making sense, to be honest, and but very low. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. So you heard Mr. Samamba just now, Damian Henry? Is that what you're saying? Because everything is up. Like everything is turned up to the max. So I don't know what's going on, to be honest. Just say yes or no, Damian Henry, whether or not you heard Mr. Samamba. Because, like I said, everything is up. I don't have anything that is not on. So I have no clue. But yeah, here you go. Can hear, but very low. I don't know hear who. So yeah. But yeah, when we're talking about all of this freedom of speech, I see where the real Michelle, yes, but really, really low. Oh, interesting. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. We're going to get it sorted. I give you guys my word. I will run a couple set tests over the weekend. So if you see me go live, I'll probably pick on some of you to say, come call in so that we can hear whether or not we got this. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Keith. If you keep answering calls and they are not getting on air, that's going to aggravate you and make you lose your, how you know, Keith? Oh my God. Eldon, it's not, Eldon, they say it's low. So I don't know. We're just going to have to do this for next week. Oh God. Yeah. Whatever. At the end of the day, see, even Keith, they're figuring me out right now. All right. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. All right. Yeah, Jimbo, I know. I'm just sorting it out right there. I will have to deal with this over the weekend. But yeah. Real Michelle says, freedom of speech in silence. Laugh out loud. Can hear, but very low. I'm trying to keep up. Yep. So there we go. But what we're seeing, I see where in the discussions the caller that was on that made me know that you guys weren't hearing me. It says, "Hi, Sabrina. I want to talk about freedom of speech and responsibility. Our Constitution protects freedom of expression. People shouldn't be hindered by government from sharing opinions and information. But we also have the ICT law where using a network to abuse, annoy, threaten, or harass someone can be a criminal offense. So my question is, how do we draw a clean line between legitimate public interest commentary, citizens' journalism, and harmful targeting that destroys someone's reputation?" That's the first question. "And should our culture adopt a rule, report concerns through proper channels first, then speak publicly only with verified facts and right of reply?" Yeah, and it also goes on to say, "And when someone posts a serious allegation and it turns out to be unfounded, what should responsible free speech look like then? Public correction, apology, and restoring the person's name with the same energy as the accusation." Very interesting. Is annoy too low a threshold, and those that chill legitimate criticism, a citizen's journalism, or is it a necessary guardrail because online pile-ons can destroy people? And how do we draw a clear line between public interest warning and targeted harassment? Now, I see it now that you put it in black and white. One of the disadvantages that we have in small island jurisdiction like ours is that everybody knows everybody. And we all know what happens when it hit the mall road, and we see now the power of social media and how that can ruin someone's reputation, how quickly it can go worldwide. And this is why the ICTA laws, it's a narrow line into blocking someone's freedom of speech and actually unfounded stuff, because you have a vehicle now that you can go out there and cast aspirations and say things that could be unfounded, as you put both sides here. But what happens when what you put into the public's domain is real? So to be honest with you, it is the way of the world. It is us fighting with social media, the power in how quickly good and bad news can spread, which we're seeing more bad news or negative stuff coming out on people than we see win-win stories or good stories, feel good things. But then people have to pick up the pieces afterwards. And one of the things that we see in small island countries like ours is that could have lifelong impacts on people's mental health. It could bar them from getting a job. They could go into some serious depression, especially if it was unfounded. So, not being a lawyer, I think we all have to behave ourselves or conduct ourselves in a very responsible manner, understanding if you're quick to go on social media to tear me down, you better make sure you come in with the facts, because there is a 5-year statutory limitation that everything that you've said about me, I have the right to come back at you with a good lawsuit. And this is where I think it draws the line. Now, if you're coming after somebody and it's factual and you just give the bare, let's say, the facts, but without going down into this rabbit hole, going down into that rabbit hole, including this and doing all of that, and you have no proof to back it up. And because you will have those who love you, you will have those who hate you. Trust me, those who don't like you are going to inject anything to tear you down. And the thing is the power of the tongue. The problem is we're seeing now globally where it's having this impact, which is why I'm feeling now you will have more and more of these lawsuits that will come across as though your freedom of speech is being removed from you, when in fact, it's all a decorum, in my humble opinion, that persons are actually looking forward for you to conduct yourself in a certain manner. Now, we understand there are just certain positions that you're going to be subjected to scrutiny. People are entitled to their opinion, and a public life, like a politician, certain roles, even in the government, you are going to be subjected to criticism. There are just certain roles that for public, that comes with the role. And people have the right to do that. But there's also, even in those positions, there's a fine line in regards to your role as a public figure, your role as an MP, for example, and your private life. The two don't mix. Now, if it is something that you're doing that's, let's say, messing with government funds outside of the powers that governs the way a minister, for example, or an MP should be conducting themselves, of course. Versus me coming on and calling your name, blaspheming you, doing all sorts of stuff about you that I don't know of you. The hearsay thing, yes, Jim. And hearsay just doesn't count. But what has happened over the years is that a lot of people get the hearsay version, and it's automatically gaslit, thrown in a public space, goes viral, and that is what sticks, leaving many times the subject to pick up the pieces. Now, what happens? What happens, though, is when it is the truth, you should have your right as well to be able to defend your reputation and to possibly give more context. Okay? To give more context. Even if there's a portion of the truth, we know how that can be twisted to based on the object. And this is why certain things need to be addressed quickly. Remember yesterday in regards to the bullying subject. There are certain things in circulation on social media that could have serious implications on a particular organization right now if they don't get that in hand. The quicker you actually do to grabbing these things, the less damage it could have on an organization, people's morale, people's mental health, and just nip it in the bud. Remaining silent is not going to solve the problem. And we know the power of social media, how fast that can spread. So the quicker you get to do damage control, right, the better it is. And that's on both sides. Now, when it gets to the point where you're not even believing the truth, when you see somebody go, you come out and you explain yourself, for example, and you just go quiet. Do you know how much power there is in silence when you got your right in your hand? There is some serious power when a person goes silent. They've said what they've had to say. They've laid the facts on the table. And if, let's say, society, like how smaller society is, continues to go after what they want because that's what's getting the traction, and you see the subject just go silent, you need to worry. Because when you think it's all done, it comes back and hits you in the face. Because at the end of the day, the truth will reveal itself. And sometimes it doesn't happen in the same day or the same week. When you least expect it, it will reveal itself. Some people have passed on And only after they have passed on, people have respect for them because what they were saying all along have come to a reality. And by then, it's too late because they were castigated, they were ridiculed, they were looked at because of public perception when all along, sometimes decades after, you realize, oh my God, that's really what was going on. Mm-hmm. So we can't be too quick. And caller, I hope that I was able to touch that. But at the end of the day, I think it's a very fine line when it comes to ripping you of your right to speak. But we all need to be responsible, understanding this very same space. You know how powerful this space is? You know how lethal a space like this is that is streaming and getting tens of thousands, sometimes 20 odd thousand per episode, 15 average 5,000. That's, you know how powerful this space is? Can you imagine if I'm reckless or if I am not responsible? Which is why not everything I'm going to speak on, but when there's time to speak, I will speak. Because sometimes you all ain't ready for the truth or the whole truth, because at this time, it's not making sense. Sometimes things have to play out and then you do a drip effect. Remember? And you can bring it back. Remember this was said. Remember that was said. And you pull up. And that's the good thing with social media. Because unless that handler of that page removes something from the space, you ain't short of proof to show where you contradicted yourself or this was said or that was said. And that's why I love where it's going. So everything you say, you need to always have in the back of your mind that someone has the legal right to challenge you, which is why you do not jump at everything you hear. And like I said, persons like myself in spaces like these, knowing the audience, knowing the reach, you have to be responsible. And this is not taking any sides for the pros or the cons, the accuser or the victim. It goes for both sides. But you must conduct yourself in a manner, because you can ruin lives if you do not know how to handle this space. And this is why there's just certain commentary, certain language, certain things I will never, never entertain. Now, if it is facts, how you deliver it as well will determine your ability to continue on my handle, on my page, on my episode, on my show. Which is why not everything you hear Sabrina speak, because a lot of you, and the majority that Danny and I were speaking about, are not ready for the reality. Have you all watched Public Accounts Committee and the type of questions that were being asked? We still have a lot of maturity to do. And I smiled today. One of the headlines is 2 directors from the HSA board resigned. What do you think is going to be the root cause of the argument right now for the reasoning behind those 2 resignations? Oh, because of their remuneration. You got facts for that? You don't jump at everything, because that's not the fact. I'm just using that right now as an example because I've heard it. Oh, it's because of the new structure and they're not going to be able to get all of these pay and all of that. Do not say those things publicly if you are not coming from a factual point. And let me just put the cap on that right now. In time, it will reveal itself. It saddens me, though, that you will have persons who mean well can no longer serve as directors on these keyboards. Listen to the questions that are asked at PAC. And when you see persons that mean no ill, when your whole person's accountable and they come after your personal character, they come after you, almost labeling you in this particular case as thieves. But listen to the questions that are being asked. The story not adding up. Okay? But at the end of the day, that is one of the biggest disadvantages in a small island, because we run with everything. You sit down under a tree, you have a couple of drinks, and you create legislation. You're juror, you're judge, you're doing everything. You incarcerate them, you even hang them. And when you check the facts out, a lot of the times it's not true. But you have just slaughtered someone who was giving of service because you don't have the facts. Damian Henry says, FOS is a fundamental right. Freedom of speech is a fundamental right to express opinions, ideas, and information without censorship or fear of reprisal. But if it's not fact, then that becomes a problem. Exactly, Damian. And with all the tools right now that is available for you, please go check, recheck, and cross-check and confirm before you make certain utterances. Because I can tell you, in many cases, it can cause someone their jobs. It can cause someone even their marriage. It can cost someone their life. And the power of these spaces right now means everyone, more so producers like ourselves, and how we manage our space, it puts responsibility on us. And I know some of you may think, oh, she's just skipping around certain topics. Why can't she just say what side she's on? No, that's respect. I hear people asking for more objective reporting, just someone who is unbiased. You've been asking for the space that's here, and now you want to hear my opinion? Why does it matter? The mere fact that I bring up certain conversations, invite you to get your feedback, and let's have public discourse, let's have public conversations so that we can see all sides, is something that you've been asking for. Who cares my opinion? Again, this space is powerful, and you better know how to use it. And some will use it for good. I try my best to use it for good. So we educate, civic, elevating talk. But I'm not going to go down certain rabbit holes because there are consequences. I have been on both sides of it, but I understood my role. But you see, when you come after my personal character and I go quiet on you, you ought to not sleep in peace. I've been there. I understand it. I get it. But when I ignore you, when I don't see you, even when I see you, even when I'm driving and I don't see you, you need to worry. It's not a threat. The power of these spaces, and you want the respect of the people, you got to know how to conduct yourself. But going back to the topic at hand, what's happening? From all accounts, not being an attorney, not being an advisor, I feel once that ruling was made, it's a total disregard and disrespect for illegal ruling for them to come back up. But here we go again. It's the power of the defense and how you represent yourself, but it's mentally draining. It's mentally exhausting for where we're going. Keith, if a child is living in a domestic violence home and they try to tell their parents that they need to stop because it is hurting them and the parents tell the child to shut up and stay out of this. That's what the law is doing to us, Caymanian. Wow, I felt that one, Keith. But we have the right to effect change. You have your elected leaders, and you have a right. You have a right. Yeah, he said, she said, and don't stand up, Jim says. The real Michelle says, the email is Sabrina Speaks, the number 12 at gmail.com. Sabrina Speaks 12 at gmail.com. Real Michelle. Jim Norris says, Keith Art, agree. However, this is another topic that needs to be discussed. Oh yeah, Jim, boy, we got a lot. And like I said, we can all survive in this space. But what I have seen happening in the Cayman Islands is that we run on hearsay. We actually destroy each other. And many times you're not challenging these people who have inflicted all of this erroneous information on you, because it's like, I got to deal with that civic. I got my bills to pay. You know how long it's going to take it through the court system and all this. Yeah, but it takes a while as well for reputational damages to be repaired. And you just have to, honestly, it's draining is what it is. It's very draining. The real Michelle says, people need to do their job in accordance with law and not based on what some estranged family members may say. The law is the law and no excuse. Well said. Denver, if you tell the truth, you won't have to remember what you say. Let me tell you something, Denver. Some of them will sell a lie. They will cry. They will make you cry in a lie. Oh my God, they lie like a Persian rug. They will lie. And eventually, sometimes it'll take you years to figure out that it was a lie. And they don't care. They just lie like a rug, a Persian one at that. As I stand clearly by that, I've been in the situation, Denver says. Damian Henry. Even when its deleted digital footprint will still be accessed once being watched by the public. Yeah, you can't reverse that, Damian Henry. Yeah, you can't. You can't. Denver says, I'm still fighting my battle with Cineco and HSA. Oh, really? I think you had said something to me about that. Really? I thought you'd got that resolved. Oh, my goodness. That's sad. Make British Empire great again. Real Michelle says, What is this body you speak of? HTA. Real Michelle, what it is? HSA? I said HSA. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this is what we have to, in order for us to coexist here, we got to handle what we say to people, where we say it as well, and make sure what you're doing, because you are seeing the lawsuits are coming. It's not that they're trying to shut you up. They're just trying to say, prove it. If you're going to make these allegations against me and you're going to go public, you're going to go blast me on your social media pages, for example, and it's making me look bad, prove it. And I have the right to challenge you because, again, reputational damage. Real Michelle says, at Denver, kaboom, stand strong in truth and the lies fall away. Sometimes we do not even realize we've been caught up in a web of lies for decades. The Health Services Authority, Real Michelle, HSA, Health Services Authority, HSA. That's what I was referring to. So what we see here, let me lighten the tone. I wish I could say 345-936-8255, but we're having phone problems again. I want to share this because I think we got to praise and we got to give recognition where it is. But two of our Cayman's institutions have earned high praises. Yeah. We see where Clifton Hunter High School, there we go. Clifton Hunter High School and the Cayman Islands Further Education Center, better known as CIFEC, They have, wow, congratulations to these guys, have both attained a good school standing. There we go. Look at the smiles on those faces. Can you imagine these kids looking at this 10, 15 years from now, what they're going to say? Oh, look at how I looked. Well, this recognition, guys, just changing gears a little bit, something good, because we're going to get back to another, the other topic we were talking about. This recognition, guys, reflects, what they're saying now is strong leadership and dedicated teachers and students alike who actually continue to rise to the challenge. And what they've seen is that inspectors highlighted improvements in even teaching quality, and student engagement. That's something to be proud of. And overall school culture, thank God. And for Clifton Hunter, the achievement marks a significant milestone in their journey of growth and excellence. Yeah. Now, what we're seeing with the further CIFEC, Cayman Islands Further Education Center, it underscores the critical role that the center plays in preparing young Caymanians for the workforce and higher education. So yeah, parents and students in education are definitely, as we can see here, celebrating this success that is definitely showing true signs and signals of progress, not just for schools themselves, but for Cayman's education system as a whole. Yeah. Thank you for that feedback, Denver. Denver says personally he thinks Raleigh is doing a good job with education, but time will tell. Yes, like everything, but here we go. That is a good thing to definitely get. And that's what I was saying in regards to this. I thought this was a good story because I never followed it up. We saw where, because it followed up under education, is this popped up. We're seeing where this teacher now who had been under investigation has officially been cleared and has now been able to return to work because the investigation that was ongoing that raised concerns about this teacher's professional conduct has now ended. And with those findings, after they conducted their investigation, the teacher did not breach standards. And what they're saying is that as a result, the individual will be reinstated and will resume duties in classroom, which ties into the conversation that we were having. Now, what in this article it says, which the whole story is on cmr.com, education officials are saying that the process was thorough and necessary to maintain public trust, while also ensuring fairness to the teacher involved. So it goes right into the conversation that we're having. And parents and students are being reassured that the school remains committed to transparency and accountability. Now, what this case is proving is that it highlights the importance of due process in our education institutions, balancing the need for oversight with rights of professionals to a fair review. So it goes right into the conversation that we were talking about of handling what you say responsibly. And this is by no means, I'm not getting involved in the case in regards to the writ, in regards to anything, but holy crap, with this now investigation, if whatever statements were made, and now this person has been actually freed where the investigation says that was not the case, it's going to be interesting as this investigation continues. So at the end of the day, I wish I could get your feedback by live call in, where I can, how do you strike the balance between protecting students, supporting teachers, and maintaining confidence in our education system with the allegations that were there on that. But I thought it was a good story. This lady has now gotten back her job. She's put back, but now she still has to live with the allegations or the assertions extended beyond that now, obviously, according to this findings, was not true. So let's see how this is going to fall out or to evolve. I don't know. But again, being responsible. They're not saying to shut up. They're not saying don't ever speak. Just think. Just think of what you say before you say it, And I would say, what if it was you? Would you say those things about you, especially if you don't know all of the truth? And it'll be interesting. But this is something my heart goes out to Miss Sandra, to be honest with you, knowing again, not because of the relationship that we have, it's just in general, because a lot of us are feeling the pressure of almost like you're walking on eggshells. It's like you're walking in a minefield. Am I right to say this? Am I right to say that? And once you can defend it with the truth from where you're coming from, it's not that you're scared. It's not that somebody has a muzzle on you. But again, it goes into making sure that whatever you say, you can back it up with facts in the event that you're being challenged. Yeah. So there we go. I was really hoping for this to be even more engaging, but I like your feedbacks here as you're commenting on Facebook. And thank you to my YouTube people. This is so helpful, even though the phone is working, because you can't hear them. It's frustrating. But yeah. Hi, Miss Lucille. How you doing from the United Kingdom? Happy Friday. Good evening, Sabrina. I'm looking intense. Yeah. Children so proud. And my Raleigh is right there with them. Yeah. Congratulations to him and what he's doing. Definitely all the parents and guardians and siblings that are helping their children change the atmosphere, because I don't think it lies solely in the school. I think a lot of things that actually plays out themselves in the schools could actually be a spillover from possibly the environment some of our kids are coming from. So it is a concerted effort of parents, guardians, brothers and sisters, and just positive reinforcement of how, our future, how they conduct themselves in public when they go to school and all that sort of stuff. A lot of these kids as well look for someone to just hear them out. They look for, just at the end of the day, they want to find, remember, with that age and hormones and all that sort of stuff, they are searching. They're searching, and they probably just need a listening ear. Now, not being an expert, but among myself, sometimes you just don't understand them. You don't understand how they're, I guess, wired, or how they come to certain conclusions. But it's nothing wrong with you throwing yourself down on the floor with them, or throwing yourself across the bed and say, let's have a talk. Tell me exactly what it is. Tell me. Make me understand, since I'm so dumb. Yeah, you literally have to go there. And then you hear them out and you be able to see it. And I was very involved in the PTA back in the day, but it will surprise you exactly how these kids will just open up to you. Not that you're interested in really what's going on with their home, but sometimes when they speak, you're like, okay, there's something bigger afoot here, why you're acting out this way. And this is why training of the teachers, even support staff, is even more on a high alert. And sometimes even the parents need training. Sometimes you just need to pull them up as well, because you just put them in their uniform, you send them off to school, you're the teacher's problem. They're yours. We're trying to instill education in them. There's just manners and respect and decorum and conduct that shared with everybody, but more so in the home. So I feel we all have our part to play, but let's celebrate in this celebration here. Look at our future. There we go. Yep. And I can assure you, if you speak to each one of these students, you will get a total different feedback from the environment and the atmosphere that they may be coming from, but yet they're all aspiring to greatness. So at the end of the day, I got to answer you, Miss Lucille. I come in. That's interesting. I thought there was evidence on the teacher, but based on the findings, Denver, no, you see it there for yourself. I make a mistake in my writing about the children. Okay. There is always a message in the mess. It's up to the individual and collectively to work out what the message is. Thank you for reminding me, Miss Lucille. Yes, I've heard from Miss Shelma, just for all of our regulars who constantly, and we miss Miss Shelma a lot. She continues to be there supporting her husband, who she announced here quite openly that his cancer has returned. They remain in Tampa. I think he's at Moffat. And they will probably be there for a while yet as he decides the treatment. Of course, he may actually have to have surgery. I just ask for all of us here to continue to pray for Michelle's strength as she and her daughter, especially who are there watching Mr. Billary actually fight this cancer. And now he's faced with a new bout of possible treatments and surgery. So we just need to be there for her. We love her. We miss her a lot. And yes, I do hear either directly or through my relatives who pretty much almost every day speaks to Miss Shelma. But yeah, Miss Lucille, I am in touch with her. And we just need to be strong for her, to be honest, as she navigates this time with her and her husband. But they're still overseas. So that is the update. Thank you for asking. It was a reminder as well. Yeah, so there we go. Plain and straight. Hey, how are you? Happy Friday to you. Keith says the government is responsible to control the cost of living for these children, for everybody. And I think there is no magic formula, Keith. There's a number of things that we'll have to take. It is not so easy. I swear. If it was that easy, I think somebody would have found a solution to it by now, Keith. But for the children, for the families, for those who even have hope, but cost of living is an issue right now everywhere, but more so in small island development states like ours, where we're importing so much. And we see where climate change, natural disasters, hurricanes, earthquakes, everything, geopolitics, if these tariffs continue to hit and sanctions hit other jurisdictions, hello, reality, that could impact what we get on the shelves. And even our shelves could look very different in time to come as well. So let's see what happens. But any government right now, they have their work cut out with them with the current climate that we're in. And it's up for us to really be responsible and to keep our hand on the pulse. I'm not saying eat, breathe, and sleep every news headlines, because it will set you crazy, but to not put your head in the sand like an ostrich either, because the best thing in life is to know, to educate yourself, so that when anything really hits, you can't say that, oh my God, this is, I didn't know it was coming. So I just keep abreast and keep a positive outlook on life, and the quality of life and the way of life that we're all living, and that don't care where you are right now, can change in a heartbeat because of what's happening around the world. We just need to brace ourselves for anything, and that's just a real talk. Plain and straight. We are sending Michelle and her husband prayers and strength. Oh, I know she looks at the show, so she's going to feel all the love, and thank you so much for that. I'm quite sure she will appreciate all the love and support that is being shared here. Miss Lucille, I'm in touch as much as I can. Yes, thank you. She will love that. So yeah, send her a message. She is appreciative of that. You can understand your lifelong partner, how emotional that must be when you see them there fighting this disease, and you do what you have to do to be there for them. But when you have an entire family like us here on Sabrina Speaks, because of exactly what she has contributed here to this space, she's really, really missed, to be honest. She is really, really missed, but I understand everything that has hit her from Thanksgiving, losing her nephew, and then now getting the dreadful result from her husband that his cancer has come back, and they remained in the United States where they're getting treatment for him. So yeah, thank you. Stay in touch with her, Miss Lucille. Yeah, the real Michelle. Plain and Straight says our health and our time are the most precious assets. You're quite right, plain and straight. Exactly. And this is why anytime that you get to spend with family and loved ones and friends, it is critical. Because when they're taken from you and there's an empty table or a seat at the seat at the table, and they're no longer with us, you're not going to tell them how much you appreciate them, how much you love them. We want to hear that when we're alive, right? And the worst thing in life is to live with regrets. Oh, I wish I could have, would have, should have. When it's not that hard to just say something nice, to really show love, to really show appreciation. Now, there's some that just drain your energy. Let's be straight. Let's be plain and straight. I think there's somebody, yeah, plain and straight. There's some that drains every bit of life out of you. And don't care how positive it is, they just suck the life out of you. You have to choose what you want in your surroundings. But when it comes to showing love and appreciation, let me get this off. Love and appreciation for our brothers and sisters. I think that's the most important thing. And if we start showing a little respect, a little more love and care for each other, I think the amount of high blood pressure and diabetes and all that sort of stuff would just go away. If we would stop lying and talking about people behind their backs that is not true, and just uplift them when you see somebody's really having a hard time and struggling, I think we'll be in a better place. And I think that goes such a long way. Because right now, when you look at all of the headlines right now in the world, and I deliberately did it today, I search for some good news topics, and I search for trending or top headlines for today, Friday, January 16th. Under the trending headlines that was general, I swear I had over 30 pop-ups around the world, regional, US, Canada, yada, yada, yada. Some places that I've never heard of. It was all bad stuff, right? Like really stressful stuff, like something else to worry about. And then I said, let me look for the good headlines that are making, I swear, I kid you not, 3. One was about environment with some kids in Japan or somewhere about recycling. And there was another one about some treatment to help with blindness. I don't remember what the other one was, but I was like, are you kidding me? You're telling me that there are no good trending stories and headlines around the world? And I think it was the same 3 or 4 that popped up, because everything in headlines was either geopolitical, wars, someone died, someone being incarcerated, or what's happening political wise that is creating worldwide stress. And I was like, OMG, let me bring it back to home. Let's trending at home. And then of course, borderline, we didn't have, we had the teacher, we had the school, and then we had the resignation of the HSA board of directors. That's what came up. And then the reminder that today's the 16th, and anybody who are riding those scooters and those e-bikes and stuff, that you're now, if you're operating them outside of law, because you're now being dealt with under the traffic law, just like a car. Those were the things that were really coming up. So I challenge you to look at the good news stories, and the number is way less, because what you put in headlines and tabloids that sells, it not a lot that's good right now. It's like bad news are getting the algorithms, and that's what's picking it up. So I think we need to chart our own course. And something that came up as well too is that if you're using ChatGPT, that they're now based on certain tiers, they're now like YouTube are going to have ads. So this is just released just before I came live, that I saw where ChatGPT now is going to be having ads. If you do the Pro and the Plus, I think those are going to be ad free for now. But they're actually now in the tech world. And even that didn't even come up as a good story because, hey, if you don't want to ads, you're going to have to pay for it. And I think some number I saw come up, I think about $8 or whatever it is. But it's if you're on the Plus, here it is. If you're on the Plus or the Pro tiers, they'll remain ad free. But they are going to be charging for you to actually get that now. But it was hard for me to find. Hey, Robert, how you doing? Have a good weekend. I hope your Friday went well and that you're looking forward for a good weekend as well. Good to have you here with us. Real Michelle says, love your neighbor and love your enemies. Be the love and light we actually are. Yeah, the enemies you gotta keep close. Oh God, they're the ones who want to ostracize, child. But sometimes it's hard to identify them too. Again, a wolf in sheep clothing. I digressed. Let's see, Denver. Are you surprised with your findings, Sabrina? I'm not. It's the media. I could be honest with you, Mr. Denver. I was really expecting more than about 4. When you look at the vast amount of just in general, even regional, I couldn't find of anything that was good. Caribbean, it was emergency meetings being had with the CARICOM members now with everything that's going on with these visa frees and immigrant visas with what's coming down from the US. But even regional, it was hard for me to find anything good. It's hard. And then I think there was one for Barbados with their crying out for something in the healthcare industry. But it was, yeah, Denver, it kind of shook me, but yeah, it is. I guess when you see it in real time popping up, it hits you at a different level because then you want to, I was speaking to Jimbo earlier on, you want to really just look at the good vibes, come with a good little thing. But reality is hardly anything that's being reported that's good. It's all stress and going to impact us some way, somehow. Good news does not feed the will of control for those who hold the power. Profound. Maybe you could hold a space for good news. That would be great. And that's where it came from. You got to thank Jimbo for that, Real Michelle. I'm going to do it. But I got to find that in Cayman. And I'm going to have to find it regional, just maybe like the top 2. But it would be refreshing. And a lot of it is, I'm going to take your idea up on that because, God, it's hard hitting. Yeah, it is. There we go. You can Google that, my dear. Google that. It's all there in the United States. I'm sorry, I'm not being rude. You can Google that. Keith, we have over 700 students graduating every year. And if they are not able to save for a rainy day because of the cost of living, how are they going to buy? Well, I could tell you this much. Let me finish. How are they going to buy land when the price of land is going up every year also? If they did, they would be out of business. You mean the bad news? Okay. Keith, in regard, that's another one. Keith, we have over 700. Yeah, I think if you were to honestly speak to our young Caymanians right now, and it is heart-wrenching, a lot of them, especially if they had the ability to go overseas for tertiary studies, and don't think they're not listening to what are happening in spaces like this. They don't see themselves coming back here if they don't have to. The possibilities of them even coming back after university or their highest thing of college is that they don't see themselves at this time, and I have spoken to a few, being able to even afford a 1-bedroom townhouse. We don't want to mistake, because condos, you think along the 7-mile corridor. And that's sad. Can we change that so that we may be more create an environment where our younger generation who is off to tertiary studies can see Cayman even more embracing. I know for a fact, I was a huge advocate for persons in the healthcare industry in trying to create an environment for people in the healthcare industry to come back and give back of service in the healthcare industry. During my short time, I call that short, 3.5 years, as a minister, I made sure I funded it. If you go back and listen to PAC, Public Accounts Committee, you will hear how much money they have for education and stuff versus how much were actually used. And my sources tell me that the Caymanians working at our public facility right now, there's certain legislation that has been put in place that was brought to my attention after the fact, that they're all going into family practice in order to pretty much just keep their credentials up, which you may think that's good. No, in the real world, it's not. It's not creating an environment that it's actually pushing the goalposts away more from the Caymanians. And when I say Caymanians in this context, let me just be real. These Caymanians that I'm referring to are generational Caymanians. Just to make it clear, this is by no means creating any segregation or separation from those who have gone through the PR process and have acquired it through naturalization or other means. For the purpose of what I am saying, for clarity, I'm talking about generational Caymanians who have gone abroad, come back and want to actually give of service. And right now, my sources are confirming to me that in time, on one hand, the generational ones that are there, the environment is frustrating them to the point that they are at their wits' end. And I can literally hold up one hand of generational Caymanians that remain in our public hospital, practicing. We need to deal with that. Because like Keith said, 700 students will be graduating, or pretty much an average graduating every year. What type of environment are we creating that our own Caymanians then want to come back and give of service? If those who are at that age now wanting to give back and the goalpost continues to be pushed further away from them, that it's actually running them mental. They have families, they have mortgages, and even if they want to go off to tertiary studies, they can't just to let's say further themselves to make them advance even more. Even though the funding is there should be some subsidiary that if our Caymanians want to go off to further themselves, that during that time, be it a year and a half, especially if they have a family, a mortgage, that they actually are subsidized for salary so that it would encourage them to further their education and still have some form of an income to support their family. I'm speaking medical right now. Yeah. But I'm telling you, I am not, let me repeat, I'm not discrediting anyone who's Caymanian by way of the acquisition through naturalization. For the purpose of this discussion and the example that I'm giving, because Keith said over 700 students are graduating, it brought that to mind of generational Caymanians that I have encouraged, who I knew were overseas, want to come back in the healthcare industry. And right now, who is even there are struggling. They're struggling to remain, and because of the environment that is being created. Yeah. So how can we encourage our Caymanians to come back home when what is being described is toxic? Let that sink in for a bit. Denver says, if they did, they would be out of business. And I'm thinking that's the headlines. Everyone loves negativity. Well, you can see how far that's getting us. The real Michelle Teresa says, thank you, Jimbo. Awesome idea. And gossip. Yeah, Denver. Oh, yeah. All you need is a hammock now. Jim, even rentals. So many should not even be permitted to live in or at asking price point. Oh, because of the deplorable conditions that some of the rental properties are in. Yeah. Yep. You're quite right, Dan, Jimbo. Damian Henry, unfortunately, gossip and controversy sell. And it's what's presently driving the media. Pretty sad. Pretty sad. Denver says you're absolutely correct on the statement. I don't know which one that was, but yeah, I'll continue to deliver. Jim says East End and North Side used to be affordable, but not anymore. Thank God. I'm a fortunate one who owns their home. Yeah. Plenty of us don't even see that anymore as a reality. And with the rent, it goes back. Okay, I see where this is coming in. With the rent that they're asking for, God, and what you're getting. I saw some places even as far as $8,000 a month, and that wasn't. You would think, oh, it's in the South Sound area along the 7 Mile corridor. Some of these places is $3,000 to $5,000. And those are not coastal. Nope. It is really through the roof that the average family, even if 2-bedroom, what's the average? 2,500, 3,000 for an average townhouse? 2,500, 2,700? Think about it. And if you're working in a decent job paying $4,000 and you got 2 kids, 2-bedroom, $2,500 a month. Yeah, that's a lot when you do the math. There is no disposable income whatsoever. And it's not that you're living beyond your means or out of your reach. Like what a commenter said, it's a deplorable condition some of them are in and the high price that they're charging. So, God. Miss Lucy, I was over the moon when Raleigh get back to his children. Sabrina, you talk about the children saving. Where is the job for them, Sabrina? I am one step from my career, but I'm concerned. Yeah. Miss Lucille, anybody that has kids and grandchildren, that is a big fair. And at the end of the day, where we're seeing technology and all of the children graduating is true. But what do you do then when persons are living longer? They're living, in many cases, healthier, and they're staying in some of these positions longer than there should be. So succession planning, one, is either absent or non-existent. So there is no way for our young adults to actually fill some of the roles. And then in some organization, the internal politics that stops growth because some of them are there until they're old as Medusa, I think that's it. Old as the hinges of hell. And then the young people can't climb the ranks because it's been sat on by someone who should be enjoying retirement for whatever reason. Or the environment that is being created does not create those pathways for those young persons to one day get in the seat, or it's designed to keep them out for whatever reason. And then not everybody's made up the same way, Miss Lucille. Some of us will just get fed up and leave and probably go into entrepreneurship or just leave and don't come back. And then you have others who will just remain stagnated. Mr. Balika says it themselves. Upward mobility, bar from being recommended by your superiors to get jobs and that sort of stuff. It's sad what's happening in the workplace. But how do we create succession planning when some people just don't leave? Even when their time is up, they're still there blocking the younger ones from upward mobility, even if they have the skill sets. What happens? That's an organizational, cultural problem. And I feel that that is where we're seeing some of the discontent in our young adults and Caymanians hoping to aspire and all that sort of stuff. I'm not saying to age out people, but if you have young persons in an organization that is one day being groomed for the upward mobility, but it's just like some, they can barely come to work. They're just filling a space. They should be retired, but they're not leaving that room for the younger people to go on. That's another topic as well. Real Michelle says, we have the power to turn bad news into good news. That's true. Jimbo says, due to the high cost of today's living, people have to work in their elder years to survive. Yeah. And a lot of them, too, from the other side of things, is that they have taken on a lot of their grandchildren and even taken on some of the responsibilities for their children. Some of them have had to remortgage their homes in order to help their kids either go through school or tertiary, or God forbid, there's an illness. So there could be a number of factors. But what I'm saying is there are some organizations where that is not the case with an employee, that the employee could actually retire, but they're just there, or the environment is fixed in such a way that ain't no way in hell the succession planning is even going to work. It looks good on paper, but it will never come to fruition, by then frustrating a lot of the younger people within that organization, getting them frustrated, and the opportunity of seeing themselves in senior management is further and further away from their reach. And not everybody is wired the same way to put up with that. And I can tell you what, you don't have much of those who were born in the 70s that's going to put up with that. You're either going to go and be your entrepreneur, or you're going to create something for your entrepreneurs in creating yourself, or you're going to stand up. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to be targeted. You're going to be considered the bully in the workplace. They're going to set the odds up against you. So, oh my God, we need prayer. Plain and straight. To be fair, there are lots of people who simply cannot afford to retire. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The flip side of it is always the case. And that's why I'm happy you made that statement, plain and straight. I covered it to say, well, in the case, the perfect utopia world, that there is someone who's really sitting in a space that doesn't have to be there. But with all the other examples that I gave, plain and straight, that there are people who still have mortgages or illness, or they're a single earner, or they're taking care of their grandchildren or their very own children. Yeah, so there are a number of factors as well, okay? He says, the government needs to have laws in place that the banks in the Cayman Islands are not allowed to do as they please, because these banks will become legal thieves. Well, I know the real Michelle, so on to you, Keith. Hey, Giselle, how are you? Happy Friday. Hope you're doing well. Happy New Year. Some people can't afford to retire. Yep. Thank you for that. We agree. And you know what, Giselle, that is actually becoming a reality for even more people, more and more. And then because of the cost of living, what they thought, let's say 15, 20 years ago, what they thought was a good, stable nest egg that would take them into their sunset years, that looks like nothing now with the cost of living, the cost of utilities, and worse, if they're not protected with medical insurance. One illness can actually just bankrupt somebody. One medication, one treatment can bankrupt someone. So yeah, but a lot of them as well. What's happening now with organizations who are aging people out as well. I was only using it as an example for upward mobility, succession planning, and as a small island jurisdiction as we are, at some point, the balloon is going to burst where we're still letting all of these young people out of school, coming home from university and college, and you can't find any place to put them. And then what happened? What happened? Because exactly what Giselle is saying, some people can't afford to retire. Then what happens? It's going to become a bottleneck. It's going to become a clog. And then your sense of worth, your sense of purpose, and for those who want to come home and contribute to society, with it being so flooded, oh my God, it's like this, but we can do it. I'm not going to give up. I have hope. We will actually navigate this together. But thank you for your comment. Denver says, The quality of people we're importing, and they are bringing in the family members living 6 to 8 in a 2 bedrooms apartment or house, sharing rent. We will always have a problem because our government is not monitoring the rental market, and the weekly renting, the wealthy renting to the rich will continue to drive the price of rent sky high. I'm quite sure there are reports as well, Denver, that will actually confirm what you said right there. You're quite right. There are stats to prove that the supply and demand, even when you're actually purchasing property as well, there are just certain price points that are set for certain people that you just can't get there. And rental is no different. Damian Henry says redundancies create new roles and open up job prospects for younger generations. Rodney says UK needs mass deportation. Yeah, I know you coming with a comeback, Michelle. I know you coming with it. Jim says, Denver Douglas, the bed space advertisements is what gets me. No, thank you. The bed space advertisement is what gets me. No, thank you. Catering to poverty. Keith says the cost of living is going to cause people, suffer from mental. We're seeing that right now because of stress, depression, and anxiety. I'm seeing persons who are actually struggling, to be honest with you, to just keep the lights on, to keep more and more food on the table. And as we're seeing almost daily, it's like the cost of items in the grocery store now continue to escalate. And let's say an average family of 4, single income, it's hard. It's continuing to be hard. And it's easy to get here and judge and say, live within your means, turn off the AC, do whatever you have to do to cut back with your consumption of utilities. If the driving cost of that as well is the cost of what you're paying for the fuel charge and all that sort of stuff, you could be using a candle. You still got to pay an astronomical bill sometimes. But how do you explain that to kids? And these are the real conversations now that we need to start having with our children. They will adapt. But we still need to have the reality, the real conversations as they come to pass. Life is uncertain. No one knows what tomorrow will bring. But at the end of the day, we can't give up. I'm not giving up. And I don't think either of us should. I said earlier on, this space is a very responsible one. It's a role that I have to demonstrate myself, conduct myself in a certain manner, because that's just who I am. But navigating life, in my humble opinion, my mom has said there'd be days like this, but I tell you, she didn't prepare me for this reality. And it's just like the roles of being a leader. You can't write this. But we have everyday choices to make. And I think that a little love, a little compassion, a little bit more love, a little more compassion, and just sharing a good thought, positive words of encouragement, even if it's someone you don't know, because you don't know what somebody may be shouldering. I think it will make the world a better place. We all deal with our hardships differently. We all deal and handle with stress totally different. But at the end of the day, like what Danny says, we all have the right to life. And our quality of life sometimes has to do with how we process things. Living a life based on social media, depending on what people say about you or how much likes and all that sort of stuff, that can set you crazy. Recenter yourself. And sometimes it's good to have the real talk to yourself too. And it's hard. But I really feel this world would be a much better world if we just learned how to be nicer to each other. And just showing a little love. That's all it takes. You stayed with me for the entire 2 hours, despite me not being able to really sort out this phone that I'm going to do. So you may see me pop up on the screen tomorrow at various times, as long as there's no, I'll be doing it straight from my Sabrina Speaks Facebook page. And I'll be probably calling some of you. And once I see the viewers, I'll ask you to do me a thumbs up. Okay, so if you see me at any point in time, at some point in time, today, tomorrow, that I'm live, but it'll be on the Sabrina Turner's community page. It will be me testing this out to make sure that we will do it. I'll probably pop up more than once so that we can sort this out for Monday. But let me tell you something. As I bring this episode to a close, let me see what the real Michelle is saying. And check on your neighbors. Some people are going hungry and you would never know. That is happening here. Let me tell you that. That's happening right here. And you'd be surprised how much your very own family members that you may have seen over Christmas are going through something. But because on the outside they look good, you never know what they're shouldering. You never know. But yeah, it is. You're quite right. You'd be surprised what people are actually going through right now. And that's why it is something that you have to trust. Not everybody you can open up to, because sometimes they will use that and weaponize that against you. But there must be at least one person that you can confide in, that you could speak your truth, that you can be your true you and you're not judged. They may be few and far between, but they're there. Trust and believe they're there. Jim says, that's why we are defined as individuals. Simply be authentic, because that's coming up next, and a bit more accepting of one another. Well said. Barbara D, how you doing, my sweet? Turn off the AC and open your windows so the drug heads can get in easier and rob you. Oh, Lord. That is serious. But, yeah, oh, God. Here we go again. Oh, Lord. It all depends on where you're living. But everybody right now is at risk, Miss Barbara. But thank you for sharing that. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you, my sweet. Denver, I talk to myself, but never. And I gotta say, so I answer myself too. I practice. And I ain't got no mental illness, Denver. Oh no, I rehearse. And then I pray to God that who I'm reversing for, that I don't actually have to execute. Oh my God, when the LaQuisha comes out, Denver, I answers her. But sometimes I'm practicing for how I can deal with certain situations, hoping that they never come to reality. Vicky Joy, champion working. So I'm off to my bed. Oh, you go, girl. Enjoy the weekend, my love. I'll probably pop to myself this evening after this week and trying to sort out what the heck is going on with this phone. But it brings me to an end of today's episode of Sabrina Speaks. We can review open mic that wasn't so open because of the phone. But even though we covered some headlines, we got into some real talk here. I want to thank you for tuning in and engaging with me and being a part of this dialogue. And definitely I'll be back on Monday, hopefully, God Spares Life, from 5 o'clock until 7 p.m., bringing you a whole week jam-pack of good stuff as we continue to navigate life together. I want to thank you so much. Until the next time, stay safe. Remember, Authentic is up next. And if you want to know how to cook Wilkes, you got to definitely tune in at 8 as well. Authentic is up next, right here on CMRTV.com. Have a good weekend. Love y'all lots. God bless. Be safe on the roads.
That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.